Brooklyn, we go hard. We go hard. Brooklyn, we go hard. We go hard. Brooklyn, we go hard.
Do you want me to start the show? Alright, but here, check it out. I changed the beginning song. Ready? Brooklyn, 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 we go hard. That's the intro.
That's the intro, yeah.
That's the intro right there.
I've seen it.
That's it, though. No, but we never did that before. Well, yeah, on the YouTube show, that's the intro.
Normally you're doing like the air guitar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we used to do Jumpin'
like,
Jack Flash. No
yeah,
more.
I
No
was
more.
practicing my.
We're slowly making. We're making mutations.
Oh, summer is the time to change.
Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Brooklyn Show. We are here live at Gordon Bennett. It's a watering hole that I like to. Lee, is that wrong to say watering hole? Because it sounds bad, but like I don't know. I said it as a compliment. It's not. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Lee's the owner of the watering hole. I thought it was a compliment. Like I say that as a compliment. Yeah, we're here in Williamsburg. It's hot. I'm here with Greg. What's your name again?
McGunangle. No one can pronounce it.
I didn't want to say it.
No, it's
because
cool.
I was like, it was like too much.
Yeah, I always tell people like people didn't know how to pronounce it until Harry Potter came along.
Harry Potter.
Professor
Harry
McGunangle,
Potter?
and now
Is there a
everybody
professor
knows
named
there's a
McGunangle?
Professor McGunangle. Now they know how to pronounce my name, but they say like Harry Potter,
Like Harry Potter.
and I'm like, great, yeah, that's the one. Just
So-
like that movie.
So we'll just call. I just call Greg Greg. So
Yeah,
you guys
it's
can
easy.
call Greg Greg. We don't have to even enter the realm of
to spell
last
it
names.
or
But
anything.
Greg is you're a PR guy.
Yes, real estate
PR
PR.
guy. Well, more importantly, you're a Brooklyn inhabitant.
I am.
You live in Brooklyn, which
Greenpoint.
we love. In Greenpoint, and I would say it's a notorious building in Brooklyn, wouldn't you say? In the pencil factory.
It's
Notorious,
absolutely
not in a
notorious.
good way. I mean, I meant that in a good way too.
It was one of the first sort of larger new construction projects in Greenpoint in that first or second, depending on your definition, wave of development.
Yeah, I would
and
say
then
it's
there's been nothing since, which has been nice, and now I'm seeing
Now you're seeing tons.
the big stuff come in. So
Tons.
yeah,
So Greg is a PR for real estate guru, not really focused on Brooklyn. I would say all of New York City.
All of New York.
It's all of New York. And so I wanted to have Greg on the show because really I like Greg, and I just wanted to hang out with Greg, to be honest with you. But no, let's discuss. I mean, I guess we'll start by saying, well, first of all, congratulations on the new job.
thank you.
Can we talk about that at all?
Yeah, we can talk about. So
Yeah.
after being on the agency side for a long time, doing residential, commercial, real estate PR, now I went in-house to a company called Saville Studley, commercial real estate brokerage. Now I'm changing it up again. I'm going to be the head of or director of new business development and communications at Observer Media. So I'll be helping them take the brand national.
So cool. You know, see,
Sounds cool. It's one
I'm
time.
like, I know I must be important because my friends are like important. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
Like,
usually how I think about you. But
Is that really? Because
Yeah.
I'm a nobody. But I keep having people on the show, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe they even want to be on the show. This is crazy.
if I do my job successfully, nobody knows who I am, which is usually a good thing.
Well, you had said before we went live,
Right.
that you were like, nobody ever wants to interview me. He's in PR.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like
People are always-
breaking
yeah.
the rules right now.
Yeah. No, you're not breaking the
No.
rules. We're totally
good. Right.
allowed to do it all in effect. So let's get down. The first question I wanted to ask you was, what would you say is the biggest change? I mean, you've been doing this now, what, 15 years? So what's the biggest change in real estate that you've seen in 15 years?
I think from like a PR point of view, it's not just print anymore. It's probably one of the most obvious points. It's not just Manhattan.
Well, print, like nobody's doing
It's
print
not
anymore.
just
Like
print.
who
Well,
uses print?
Well, people read it online.
Okay,
for sure.
well, does that count as print?
Yes, no.
So it still
would
counts
think
as print?
I think that the marketing has gotten more sophisticated for residential projects, for commercial developers, for landlords. They realize that they need to every building or every project needs to have a story, and it needs to be told. It can't just be in a brochure anymore. It sort of needs to be ongoing through content, through online,
Well,
through your website.
let's look at it this
so
way.
there's a whole storybook now that maybe didn't exist before, maybe didn't have to in those big days of 2007, 8, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, where everything was just selling off floor plans. So PR has become more important than it ever has been, I think.
Well, what's the process? So here I am. I'm launching a 200 building. 200 unit building condo.
Right.
Right. Take me through the process of getting it out there to the people.
I think usually developers will start with a marketing firm, and our hope on the PR side usually is that they bring PR into the fold as early as possible. But I would say that could mean 6 months to a year on a building that size, 6 months to a year, so that they're involved with the planning, they're hearing about the marketing, they're sort of starting to think of storylines, they're able to learn about the product and meet the different vendors that are involved, and start to get put together sort of what they're going to go out and pitch from a PR point of view. But I've done it in as little as a week or two, where a developer calls and says, we've got a 40-unit building, we're launching it in a couple weeks, and we need somebody to do PR for it. And I don't really know what that is, but hopefully it'll help our building, right?
It'll work.
And PR people, I think, are able to adjust pretty quickly. You usually can sort of drop a good PR person in, and they can hit the ground running pretty quickly.
So where are what would you say are the three most important websites today as far as PR goes for real estate?
In New York?
In New York.
Well, I think the publications that most people want to read from a residential point of view continue to be Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and the like. On the commercial side, certainly
Wall Street Journal.
Observer.
I will say, actually, and I actually pay for the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah,
I'm
me
a
too.
paid subscriber, and it's the only one I actually pay for. I started paying for Inman too.
Right.
And I kind of am pissed off that I'm paying for it, but at the same time, anyway, my wife wants me to join, but that's another story.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I haven't had to pay for any of them. My company
You get it
usually
for
gets
work.
it or whatever, right? But I think.
But they do it. They do it right. Wall
Yeah.
Street Journal does it properly.
They do, and so do. I think you'll find the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times.
Do you still think the
Financial
New York Times? I think the New York Times has become such a third-rate newspaper.
I do. And
You do think it's important?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
for both commercial and residential, and
Because people read it. People still read it.
Yeah, absolutely. People read it.
Do you have to pay? You have to pay for New York Times?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do.
They've
get the
been
New
one of
York
and the Journal. They've successfully changed to that sort of fee-based model, where they're putting out content that people pay to read, and we get updates on our watch telling us to.
You think Donald Trump
go read it?
has a New York Times account?
I'm sure he does, or somebody on the team does.
Somebody on the team's
somebody
reading
does,
it, right?
Yeah.
And what else? So we got the Wall Street Journal, New York Times.
New York Times. I think it depends on if you're a 200-unit building and you have a number of apartments that are very expensive, you're probably not just looking for buyers locally in the New York area. You're probably looking locally, nationally, and internationally. And so, what you'll do with your PR people is you'll say, okay, where do we think these people are going to come from?
Yeah.
And then they'll go out and pitch publications that reach that target audience in that country or in that city. And so that's where it gets a little bit more serious, and sort of the strategy comes into play, and that's why PR being involved from the beginning is really important, because then you can actually dial them into all. The marketing team is going to know all that, because they're going to go spend their ad dollars on different trade publications.
Let's bring it closer to home. Let's talk about 325 Kent that just opened around the corner, right? Now, okay, obviously they're going to post these apartments.
Right.
Anyway, for those who don't know, 325 Kent's, I don't know, it's got to be a 500-unit building. It's by Two Trees is a developer, and it's a huge project just down the street from here. I guess the question
is... the one
is...
with the...
it's the one that's got it's got a hole in the middle.
It's amazing.
It's a beautiful building.
Right.
So now they have 500 units. How are they advertising these apartments? Obviously they're going to go to Street Easy, they're going to go to New York Times, and and all the places where they need to post these listings.
Sure.
What else are they going to do?
So I think the biggest difference between PR and advertising is PR is strategic communications that is earned, not paid for. And so, yes, everything that you're saying will happen, paying for these apartments. But when a buyer or renter goes to that sales office, presumably there's going to be a book, or there'll be they'll hang the press articles, or it'll be on their website. And what third-party earned media does is it brings legitimacy to the marketing side, the advertising side. So if they tell you this is the best building, but then you read about it in the New York Times saying, well, this building has great amenities because it has a basketball court and a pool and a lifeguard 24/7, so your kids can swim all night, whatever it is. That legitimizes the marketing, and it's also sort of creates word of mouth, and there's still all the sharing.
Don't people read those articles and then say, God, I got to check out this building?
Absolutely.
So
and then when they walk in, they see it. So a big metric that we track in PR is see if you can track the incoming traffic from the sources. So if you do place an article in the New York Times real estate section, then you can actually see the hits on your social. You can see the hits on your website.
See if there's an uptick.
And that's the big thing that the PR folks try to do, working with the marketing and the IT or the web people. So this building here, besides the advertising, I mean, it's also PR acts as a way to keep a building in the news and sort of show off. So they have a beautiful facade, and I don't know anything about the PR for that building to date, but they have a beautiful facade. It's like copper and metal.
It's copper and zinc.
Cool holes in it. So aside from the fact that there's a story that this building is opening up in Williamsburg in a great location, presumably somebody is pitching a story about how cool that facade is, how it, where it came from, how the architect,
the story behind
it. And I mean, there are people who think that's cool for a lot of different reasons, but also, if you're a buyer, you're a renter, you may have not have known about that building, and now you see it because it's got a story on its facade, and you say, well, I want to live in that building, or let me go check it out. And you can PR any piece of a building.
Is that the angle on that store? So if you're doing the PR for that bit, would you say that's the angle? Because it's got a unique
I had a building
facade.
downtown. I had a building downtown.
Brooklyn or Manhattan?
In a place called Manhattan, far away, I know. And they went all out. It was a Helmut Jahn design building. It had
Helmut who?
Helmut Jahn.
That was good.
They designed the building with curved glass, which was cool. I mean, it was unique. It's beautiful. But as we got into the project, we were talking to the developer, we were talking to the architect, we really started to see and realize that comes at an extra cost. To have curved glass at that level on a skyscraper, there's a lot that goes into it. So we started looking at the details. We found out that it's designed in a place in Connecticut, and the guy does the World Trade Center glass. He does the glass for all these other beautiful buildings, and
Did he do the glass for the Frank Gehry building on the West Side Highway?
He may have also done that.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, and the IAC building. Yeah,
I don't know that building, but okay.
So it's the Gehry one with the sails and the.
Oh, is that what it's called?
IAC.
Okay.
So yeah, so we dug into it.
I always just called it the Frank Gehry building.
So we dug into it and we found out that this guy is the facade guy, the glass guy, and we pitched a story.
So you did a story about him,
just about him
and what he's
and about
doing.
the glass. It doesn't always have to be about the building. PR cannot necessarily be self-serving. You have to really look at it from the publication's eyes. You have to think about what is it that their readers are going to want to know about. And I think that's one thing that developers may not always understand is that I can't just it does not work in a way that PR people go and tell journalists what to write.
It's got to be an interesting story.
It has to be interesting to their readers.
Yeah, it's got to be an interesting read.
Yeah, so it's a really fun position or job because you get to be creative, you get to work with a lot of different people, and besides the fact that it's not just pitching real estate publications because. You might be Joe Millionaire and never read
Well, that's what
the
I'm
New York
saying to you.
Times.
How does it work? Okay, so I'm a billionaire, right? And I just built a building with 500 units, and I'm like, Greg, I need you to get me into these publications. Money's a non-issue. No problem. What you can just go and say, hey, look, guy, like that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
Is it a money issue or is it a content issue?
PR people, it doesn't matter who the firm is, doesn't matter what the team is. You're hiring somebody based on their relationships, and so certainly for some people, depending on the list,
Yeah.
whenever you start out a program with somebody, usually you're going to come up with a PR wish list and say, who are your target audience? What do you think they're reading? Where do they live? And so somebody
So you
with good
gotta narrow it
relationships,
down,
and you're going to hire your publicist based on, if you're looking for international press, you're going to go with a PR firm that has a track record for getting luxury international residential real estate press. Same if you're opening a hotel or a restaurant, commercial building, doesn't matter. You have to find the right firm that has the contacts that can say to you, yeah, no problem.
So 20 years ago, it was about having, press in print, right?
Right.
I mean, it's fair to say 20 was maybe 30 years ago now, but I don't know. 20 years ago, people were looking for property in the New York Times Sunday edition.
Right.
Right. Maybe that was 20. I would say 20 years ago. Then we went, I don't know, 10 years ago, it switched to an online
right?
sort of thing, website, that type of thing. Today, now, everything's on your handheld device.
Right.
When it's up to the minute kind of updates. Where are we going to be in 20 years from now?
Oh, man, the prediction question.
Hold on. Where are we going to be in 10 years from now? Are we there?
I think one, you'll see, hopefully, there'll be probably ways to further specify or tell your phone or all your news aggregators, what it is you want to read or see or be told, and so hopefully you'll have stuff pushed to you even better than you can now. I mean, it's hard to know. I mean, I think the trend right now is certainly a little bit more towards creating content for your website, for your blog, for your users who are on the phone. I mean, it's basically telling the story on your own. I mean, media in a lot of ways has shrunk. Newsrooms have become a little bit smaller, and so a lot of people are just. And also, I should say, Google now knows how to make money, where 10, 15 years ago, it didn't the same way. So if you want, things don't go viral the same way they used to. And so you really have to create your own story and tell your own story in a lot of ways. And so I think you'll probably see more content coming from companies, from the website itself, or from a building itself. So that would mean a building having its own blog potentially, or a magazine that they create, or a newsletter. You see a lot of times talking about all the things that are opening up in the neighborhood, so that you don't have to do that work.
I mean, look, I think we all need to understand that the web, as I guess it's not so new anymore. It's been around, I would call it about 20 years. I mean, it's been around longer, but we've been using it 20 years, and it's gone from something we did at home, and but it's certainly increased over the past 20 years. But it's an ever-changing. Right now, it's so rapidly changing. I mean, I've been in the real estate business for 15 years, and that's not that long. And 15 years ago, I was doing business completely differently than I am today. So I think it'll be interesting.
Were you taking out ads in the paper that people would circle?
You know what? I never did it, but people were still doing it when I started.
There are still parts of New York City, I mean, where that happens. The old school.
Yeah, I mean, good
further
luck.
neighborhoods.
Hey,
the other side of Brooklyn.
I still see when I walk around, I'll still see a for sale sign on someone's house by owner. Right. Like it'll literally, you can still buy those at the hardware store.
My mother-in-law, when I was looking for a job, wondered if I was gonna get subscriptions to all the papers so I could circle jobs in the paper, and we had to tell her that just wasn't how it worked.
It's not how it works anymore. Yeah, nobody takes classified ads.
No.
I mean, what, Craigslist is still the classified ad? Is that right?
I guess, yeah.
It is still the way people like.
I guess,
Yeah.
you know. I got bought a monitor off Craigslist today. I was very happy.
You what?
I bought a monitor, a computer monitor. I got a good
computer
deal.
monitor.
A kid was moving
Oh,
out
we
of
have
town.
monitors. You
I
should've
know.
called us.
Maybe I need a third. I could be like a Wall Street guy. I need 3 of them.
So I think it's time for Price It Out.
All right.
Is
Very
it time
cool.
for Price It Out? It's a good time for Price It Out. All right, you know what Price It Out is? Are you ready for this?
I'm guessing. I think I can figure
we
it out.
take 2 apartments in Brooklyn, and you have to pick which is more expensive.
Okay.
All right. So here's the first 2. We got 306 Gold, apartment 8E. It's a studio 1 bath, 610 square feet in downtown Brooklyn. All right.
Okay.
A lot of other kind of cool shit. Here you go. You can
Nice.
check it out.
All right. Is
And
this
then we-
yellow? I shouldn't move that.
Well,
I
that's the
guess.
price.
Yeah. All right.
So when we reveal, we'll remove that.
Okay.
And then we got 360 Furman in Brooklyn Heights. It's a 600 square foot studio. All right, they have similar amenities, just to kind of be brief with everyone.
Okay.
I gotta go with 360 Furman's gonna be more expensive, but let's see whatever you think.
Well, this has a lot more books in it, so maybe.
That is true.
And it does
The
have a
cost
really.
of book. That's the biggest thing in design for new development in Brooklyn or in New York City today. They buy the book by color. Buy the books by color. We actually have them in the office. You can buy books by color, by the foot, and by the yard. And you know it's actually pretty cool because you can color coordinate your books. So anyway, they've done that here. Actually, no, these are just regular books.
I'm gonna.
They didn't do that. They just bought regular books. Excuse me. Yeah, excuse me.
Well, I admit I don't know exactly where Furman is. I know where
it's
Gold
downtown
is,
Brooklyn.
but
Downtown Brooklyn.
I'm gonna agree with you that maybe.
Look at the common
360
charges.
Furman.
Yeah, look at the common
The
charges.
common charges. I caught that, and I
Yeah.
see there. You know,
So you're gonna go with Furman?
I'm gonna go with Furman, but
All right, so rip it off. Let's see what we got. We're probably wrong because Lloyd likes messing with me.
okay. What's your number here?
What is it? 810? 810.
695.
Yeah. So we were right. So Furman's more expensive.
So we didn't
Well,
get duped.
you just basically did what I chose. I think.
I'm not a broker, so I figured I would just
But you're PR. You should know these things.
I'm
okay.
good. Yeah.
Are you ready? So we got
Okay.
2100 Bedford Avenue in Flatbush. It's a 700 square foot 1 bed, 1 bath. There you go.
Okay.
Any amenities? I'm trying to think. No amenities. They have a garage.
Okay.
There you go on that
Nice.
one. And then we got 211 23rd Street in Greenwood. Greenwood's a great area. I'm really a big fan. This is a nice looking apartment actually. 1,300 square feet. I like this apartment. How many
One bed.
bedrooms? Wow, 1 bed. 1,300 square foot, 1 bed, 1.5 bath.
And that's what
which
he's
one
messing
do you
with
think
us,
is more
'cause
expensive? This is a very
727.
this is a nice apartment.
1,300.
I like this apartment. I don't know how much it costs, but I like it.
I'm gonna say I think Greenwood Heights people do know. Is it Greenwood Heights or
It's
Greenwood?
Greenwood, same thing.
I think
yeah.
people do know about it. It's a small area.
Yeah.
It's got the yard. So I'm actually gonna agree with you.
You're gonna go
again
with
for that
Greenwood.
reason.
I would probably go with the Greenwood one too. Let's rip it off and let's see what we got. I can't rip it
660
off.
here.
And 749. So there you go. So we're 2 for 2. This is pretty good because normally I'm like 0 for 3.
I usually call Tager for my
Yeah,
pricing
probably
and
not
real
a good
estate
idea.
advice.
Probably
so
not a good idea.
I'm just believing him.
I'm 2
You've taught me well. You've taught me well.
I'm doing okay. Here we go. Here's Greenpoint for you.
Oh, there we go.
79 Eagle Street. It's a 1,200 square foot 2 bed 2 bath on Eagle Street.
Okay.
It's pretty nice looking actually.
That's nice.
And then we got Clifton Place, which is in Bed-Stuy, 992 2 bed 2 bath for 7. How big is that one?
1213.
Yeah, I gotta go with that one. But let's see.
Let me see this one here.
Bed-Stuy.
A lot of people from Greenpoint are.
I mean, is
going to
Bed-Stuy gonna beat
It's crazy.
Greenpoint? You think it's Bed-Stuy against Greenpoint? You're gonna go with Bed-Stuy?
Well, I mean, this is like a lot smaller. I don't know.
Alright, look, we could be here a
I
while.
don't remember how much it
You don't even
doesn't
remember.
know.
Lloyd
He
doesn't
doesn't
even
know.
know.
All right.
And he picked them.
Well, I'm gonna go with Greenpoint because
You gotta go with Greenpoint. You live there. You gotta go with
I
Greenpoint.
gotta say Greenpoint's more.
I don't know why I chose that one. You could have chose that one. Okay, you moved it.
We got
This is 125 in Greenpoint.
and this. So we are 3 for 3.
There we go. And that's $1,045,000. So yeah, Greenpoint wins. Victor, I'm 3-0.
For us.
This is the first time I think I've gotten all three. Right? Didn't even hesitate either.
Easy.
Lloyd obviously chose very quickly tonight.
I appreciate it.
Let's plug. I think we should plug where we are a little bit before we go.
Yeah.
Because this was a last minute kind of thing. You know, truthfully, that's what I love about the Brooklyn show, because we just really wanted to drink. And then I was like, well, where can we shoot the Brooklyn show tonight? I'm like, let's go to where I normally drink.
Right.
And we came here. This is like, I'm like a dad. I don't have like a watering hole anymore. You know what I mean? This is the closest thing I have to it.
And I did the interview because I was hoping I would get to drink, because I don't.
You were hoping.
Yeah,
right?
I don't usually get to drink.
I'm that guy. Like, does your wife hate me yet? Am I that guy
she
yet?
loves you.
She does love me?
Yeah, very
That's
much.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because at some point, like,
She's jealous.
wives
She
hate
doesn't
me.
get to come out and drink.
At a certain point, like, my best friends' wives don't
Really?
like me. Yeah, they don't like me. I'm that guy. They're like,
Really?
ugh, you're hanging out with
Oh
Taylor?
yeah, with Tager again.
Yeah, no.
No,
You know what I'm
Danielle's
talking
like,
about.
go. Like,
Yeah, no, Danielle like.
She's like,
we had a
please
good
go.
rapport.
Like, get that. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
get
like,
out of there.
Get out of here.
Well, it's because she loves the MS8.
That's true.
By the way, I'll plug the MS8. Okay, the MS8 is awesome.
a life
okay?
changer. Yeah.
It's a game changer if you can handle it, but it's amazing.
It takes
Just
a
go
little
to
bit of-
Amazon and Google
yeah.
MS8 and you'll love it.
You need a college degree to.
You
work
do need
with
a college.
it.
Like, not many people can use it.
No.
Like, only certain people.
No, and I know people with like
Yeah.
masters and they haven't figured
They
it out.
can't figure it out.
Just hit
Well,
update.
dude, we're like, this is it. The show's
Yeah.
over. Like, we're done.
Well, this is
Is
awesome.
there anything else you wanted to say? Man, I don't know.
No, except that
Yeah.
I love the show and I appreciate you having me.
Dude,
So
I
thank
love you. You know I love you.
The best.
My man. Congratulations on the new job.
Thank you so much.
I only hope
Thank
it
you so
works
much.
well for you.
It will. I know it will.
I'm sure it will. Thank you for watching. Facebook Live, YouTube, right there. Lloyd, always appreciate you. Always.
Thank you.
Everyone, cheers. Don't forget to come to Gordon Bennett here on South 6th in Williamsburg.
Throw back a few.
Great wings, man. Great food here, actually. Great food. Cheers. See you guys later.
Thank you.